tips for finding that
What are your tips?
inner security? What are your tips?
My tips, I'm working on it.
What are your tips?
My tips.
What are your tips for finding that inner security?
I mean,
Inner
ultimately,
security, not insecurity.
I think ultimately you just gotta find what excites you and what you like about yourself and explore that and just constantly be growing as a person. Like, don't just do one thing, do a bunch of things, experiment, however you want to take that. So you're over Davey.
I'm just here.
Yeah.
That's true. You're just
I think taking time to I think a lot of people who don't grow, they spend their time trying to find their validation through other people. And if you take time by yourself and are okay by yourself, then you start to find the validation from within yourself and you don't need anybody else. And that's the most empowering thing. And once you get to that point, you're fine.
Jet, what are your tips and tricks?
closing thoughts.
Tips on
Accepting yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, I think when I first started YouTube and watching myself on camera so much, it was really hard for me to, and then people commenting on you, and
Oh my God.
and it's like you could look perfect and they'll still comment horrible things. So I had to kind of break through a wall with that, and I had already lived through that like you have in middle school, and I already did that, and I'm like, oh, I gotta relive this again.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really hard, but I feel like it was important for that to happen just so I could get to the point where I'm like, fuck all of these people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being me.
That's also a good point, that
Yeah.
you go through the shit so that you can come out of it and you can have something to know it against. Without the bad times, the good times wouldn't seem
Yeah.
as good. So it's almost like having this objective view and being I'm on a journey, and sometimes it's shit and sometimes it's good. But rather than being that person who's being thrown around by the bad times, you're just kind of the person sitting back and saying, hey, it's a bad time, but it's a time. And it's not about always needing it to be good, it's about having that diversity.
I think as YouTubers we have an advantage because we're forced to deal with people's negative comments and negative reactions because it happens so much that you have no
Yeah.
choice but to confront it.
Yeah.
And you really can put into practice that what other people think of me is none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's not even so much about building a wall to prevent the bad stuff or the good stuff, because if you internalize the good, you have to internalize the bad.
It's almost just as bad.
For me it's not even building a wall, it's just realizing that what other people say about me really has nothing to do with me, but a lot to do with what they're going through.
And imagine what they're going through.
Right.
If you're sitting there making horrible comments on a video where someone's having a good time, I almost have sympathy for those people.
How sad those people must be. It's a projection of how they feel about themselves.
Yeah.
So for all you fuckers out there making negative comments about
There's
this
the why,
video,
Davey.
yeah. So for all you fuckers out there, we feel bad for you.
When we're thinking on this grand perspective, we're able to see it like that. But then sometimes, someone does say something. You're like,
sometimes it gets you.
oh,
It does.
yeah. And then I'm like, okay, what on earth would possess me to ever put a negative? I would never. First of all, I would never comment on videos. I would never.
Except for this one.
Yeah, except for this one. Except for my friends on YouTube. But then, second of all, I would never put a mean thing on YouTube. So that's
You would just turn it off.
You have a different pathology if you're doing that.
Yeah. I went through a phase where I loved reading self-help books and things like that. But one of the things that I found most practical, I've got a gratitude journal, and which I heard about on
Really
Oprah.
You're so Oprah.
No,
Look
and it's
at it.
actually the one thing whenever I'm feeling miserable, it's the one thing that I can pull me back. I'm there's surely got to be something in this day that I can be thankful for. And each night before I go to bed, I write 5 things down in it, and that's always my tip. When people are what's your, how do you start on that journey to feeling secure? And it's just focusing on all the positive things, because there's so many negative things, but there are so many positive things. So why not?
Well, it's each of us has maybe a handful of 3 or 4 or 5 really bad things maybe that are happening to us, but there's also 1,000 really great and amazing things, and it's why not focus our energy on that?
Some of those negative things are actually legitimate, maybe things that we probably need to work on. Maybe it is constructive, and maybe we're being a little sensitive.
Yeah,
about
totally.
It, so
and maybe that's why we're reacting. So it's
right.
It's
something we know that's true.
Yeah.
So take the time to see if there's any validity on it. Maybe it's something that you can work on within yourself to grow.
Or just take your tits out.
We'll just get your tits out.
Or take your shirt
Now
Kumbaya.
take your shirt off, please.
I I didn't recognize you when you walked in. I was like, you're wearing clothes.
Well, thank you for being my first.
Oh,
I
wait,
feel like
we can't come back?
You can come back.
Okay.
Oh.
I feel like I'm like actualizing like a childhood talk show dream today.
Yay!
In one of my pursuits.
I keep doing that.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
So thank you very much. I actually, you know, like on talk shows or like Tonight shows where they have like a catchy outline.
Yeah. What was yours?
Well, I thought that I had one, and I wrote it down, and I thought it was genius, and then I said it out loud to my friend Mitch, and it didn't make any sense.
Okay,
But I
Mitch
feel-
is a hater. Just say
No,
it.
okay, but I feel like, so my name is
Trolling.
Courtney Act, and
Yes.
this show is called Courtney Talks, and I thought there could be some line about, like, turning the Courtney Talks into action, but I can't quite work out the wording.
Yeah,
Turning-
you don't want people to think too hard about it.
No.
People don't like to think.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Acts into action. No, walks into action with Courtney.
If you have any
Stop
ideas,
acting.
comment below.
Stop acting.
Stop acting.
Stop acting.
Yeah, because that is kind of what you're doing. You're saying, cut the shit.
Cut the crap.
Cut the crap, excuse me.
Maybe that's your outro. Sorry, that was so hard.
Can you not?
Oh my god,
Cut the
cut
crap.
the crap with
Remember.
Courtney Act.
That's so good.
Yes.
Maybe you should
So
have.
Do
remember-
it.
Cut
Oh,
the
we'll all
crap.
say it. Should we
Okay.
all say it? Okay. And you say and remember, and then we'll all.
And remember,
Cut
I just
the
said that with an
crap.
American accent.
Okay.
Hang on.
Okay.
And remember,
Cut the crap with Courtney Act.
That was the worst American accent ever.
that was my Australian accent.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
No wonder it was horrible.
It's a good thing he's you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe and comment below. And if you want to see more of the conversation, just click over here. The gorgeous Alaska Thunderfuck 5000. The beautiful Jinx Monsoon. And the legendary, the beautiful, the classic, Miss Jackie B. She's here.